You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Go for it, Jim. Climb the ladder, kid. Make yourself famous.
A podcast covering all things WWE.
I have now returned to save the WWE.
NXT.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
And AEW.
Holy wrestling. I couldn't be more happy.
Here are your hosts, Kyle Gagliardi and Jim Tucker.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host. I don't have a moniker this week. I'm just Kyle Gagliardi. And with me, as always, is my good friend, Tucky Two Belts, Jim Tucky!
What's going on?
So obviously the intro is not what it usually is anymore.
Life is good.
If anybody is keeping up with us on social media or is just friends with us, they know by now, Jim Tucker, across the table from me right now, the brand new OTM NXT champion. How's it feel?
My shoulders are sore from holding the two titles all the time now, but I hope I serve the audience well as their double champion. You know,
you're such a baby face.
Hard-fought victory. You know, myself and the community came together, and I am not the title holder. We are.
Jesus Christ.
So
hard-fought victory. You went the safe route and just went with retains all across the board.
No, I went the
safe.
logical route, and then I flipped on the match that I thought was the flipper.
I guess like Herm Edwards always says, you play to win the game.
Yep.
And that's what you did. You picked up a win, and now you're Tucky Two Belts.
Yeah.
Other than having two belts, what's good, man? Couple weeks.
Middle school baseball is done.
Finally.
Thank the Lord.
That's a relief for you, obviously.
Yes.
More free time, right?
Yes, more free time. But yeah, life is good. Everything's good.
All caught up on wrestling and whatnot?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a chaotic week, but I'm with it.
I don't really have much going on in my life, so obviously I'm all caught up as well.
There you go.
Just watched NXT.
Congrats.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, man. Just watched NXT today. Watched AEW live last night. Raw and SmackDown all caught up. But yeah, other than that, I don't have any belts, so I'm just going to drink a couple beers tonight. So if the words start getting a little interesting during this episode, you'll know why.
Yes.
Drinking a variety pack I got from a liquor store, and it's now expired.
Okay.
In the cans. So
all right.
We'll see how that goes.
Living on the edge.
Hey, let's not forget, Tuck, that we are a part of the Overtime Sports Network. If the people don't know about OTSN, what do they need to know about the Overtime Sports Network?
Well, the first thing they need to do is they need to follow the Overtime Sports Network on Twitter, @_OTSN. The Overtime Sports Network is a collection of blogs and podcasts from a bunch of like-minded people. We're doing it for the good of doing it.
We are.
Yeah, and
nobody's seeing any money from this.
No, and it's okay. It's just a hobby. It's fun. Yeah. You know, why do we do this podcast? Why do we have a lot of these things? We enjoy doing it, and we are always looking to add, especially bloggers. So if you have a knack for blogging, you can send a DM on Twitter to the Overtime Sports Network account @2sweetkyle. You can send him
That's right.
a message as well. Myself @JimTuck89, but the web address has changed slightly.
Do you know it by heart?
Nope. I'm not even going to try.
Neither does Mikey Wilson. Mikey had his video of Degenerate Kennedy making the pick for Thursday Night Football tonight. He goes, the new domain's too long, blah, blah, blah. I was like, the reason I switched the domain is so I don't have to pay money to have a domain. It's not that hard. It's just .wixsite.com/OTSN.
I'm going to look into it, dude. We're going to get OT Sports Network back.
It's still here.
No,
I'm just not paying.
.com.
That costs $250. I'm not paying $250.
What I'm saying is you're getting had. I pay $16 a year for couchbaseball.com for the domain.
Well, you're not through Wix, correct?
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to look into it.
But were you able to have like a template where it just made the website for you, or did you have to start from scratch?
You get to pick your color. The couchbaseball.com website color swapped and added stuff.
Okay, well, maybe we'll look into that. But for now, if you want to check out the Overtime Sports Network.
OTSportsNetwork.com/OvertimeSportsNetwork.OvertimeSportsNetwork/OTSN.com/Wix.
OTSportsNetwork.wixsite.com/OTSN.
Basically the same thing.
is where you can find that. So, yeah, once again, you went undefeated on a pay-per-view predictions. This one only had 5 matches.
Jimmy's hot.
I guess you could say you are. It's not as impressive as me holding 3 belts, but we know that Ian Garavalia is the AEW OTM champion, so we can't forget, you don't hold all the gold, Tuck. You're not that special.
And he tried to come out with a half-hearted roast about how he held a title too, but the last time I checked, 2 titles are more than, if you have 2 belts, that's more than having 1 belt. So
and he only competes in 1.
Right. So
he's too much of a chicken to come to the big leagues.
He doesn't want to mess with, he doesn't want the smoke.
No.
And that's okay,
Not everybody can hang with the big dogs.
Right.
So this makes you technically a 3-time OTM World Champion, and this is your first NXT reign, right?
This is my first NXT reign. I've held many shares of titles along the way.
Yeah.
But we're on a hot streak where people are retaining or getting it.
Well, and also I feel like not just like obviously you that's winning the predictions, everybody's doing well. And I don't know if that's a reflection on the shows being predictable, or maybe we're just having a better understanding right now of the ins and outs of how wrestling is working.
And I think from a WWE standpoint, they don't feel the need to get pops and seek pops because there's no
right
crowd.
Now. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do have all the prediction sheets, Google Sheets, since we started. I should go back and start lifetime
see the overall records.
Yeah,
kind of like how AEW does. Yeah, that would be very interesting. But, we continued our independent wrestling. The OTM Indie Boys hit the scene once again this Saturday. We attended a Black Label Pro show, TurboGrafx 16. It was in Crown Point, Indiana.
Yeah.
Very close to home.
Yes.
Literally 5 minutes away from where we're at right now. Mm-hmm. My first show, but our first show that we attended as a group, there was only about 30 people in the crowd. They maxed it out at that. Assigned seating, mask on. It felt really intimate and close to all the action. I don't know what your overall thoughts were.
Yeah, Black Label always does a good job. They find a way to get good talent, and they put on pretty good matches as well, which is impressive from the independent standpoint because these people they need storylines to continue, but they also need guys to show up and then figure out a match the day of.
Yeah.
Or,
there was a couple fill-ins just for this show itself due to the COVID-19 scares going on.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I do love about the independent shows. They are more intimate. You're not going to go to an indie show at the Allstate Arena.
No.
You're gonna it's a high school gym, an Armory, the RDS gym we were at on the Square Sports that, so you feel a little bit more, and it's fun because there are people on that show that are going to go. Trey Lamar is going to go.
Did you see that tweet I had of some of my favorites that I've seen? Trey Lamar.
Elena Black. Great.
Elena Black at AEW Dynamite last night.
Billy Starks is 15 years old.
Oh, my God.
She wrestled Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah.
She's 15.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane to think about.
And when you look back at like Becky Lynch's journey, she was a snot-nosed kid.
Yeah.
Right? And here, like, you can't be shocked if that happens to Billy Starks. And she's good too.
Yeah,
People
she can
forget.
go.
So it was a good show. Good seats. There's not a bad seat in that place because of how small it is.
And you kind of nailed it with the interaction thing. Like, you can literally talk to these wrestlers. I've had conversations with Warhorse. That's a name that...
In the middle of a match.
Yeah, in the middle of a match. I took a selfie with Warhorse, put it on Twitter. He liked it. I mean, Trey Lamar, like you said, had a fantastic match. I forgot who he faced. It was the guy that we were just talking about, right? That his girlfriend was in the audience. Isn't that who Trey Lamar
Kevin
faced?
Blackwood, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I believe he faced. That was one of the best matches on the card. And I've never had attended an indie show until 2020. We've been to 2 Warrior shows and now 1 Black Label. I'm starting to have equal, if not a better time at these independent shows.
Well, you do because you feel a little bit more a part of the action. Mista, my wife, prefers independent shows to WWE every day of the week.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, too, and you could say this for WWE and AEW as well, but if you bring non-wrestling fans to the event, they're still going to have a good time, too. They might make fun of it and whatnot and say a couple things, but it's hard not to get involved when you're around that atmosphere.
Yeah, and once you see the athleticism in person and what they're actually doing, the word fake kind of slips out of your vocabulary. Like Effie.
You hear those chops?
Yeah.
in that tight gym.
When Effie was on Busted Open, he talked about it being simulated combat.
When was Effie on Busted Open? Recently?
Months ago.
Oh, months ago? I didn't
Get
listen
Yourself
to that
Over
one.
Monday, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember
And
those.
he talked about simulated combat, and Mark Henry had a little, or Bully Ray was like, what are you talking about, simulated combat? He's like, bro.
It is.
It's and that is what it is. It is combat.
Articulated,
He's like, if it was
planned.
he said if it was actual combat, we wouldn't be able to do 6 matches in a week.
And people would be getting injured on a daily basis.
So, I enjoy the indies. There's always also, why do people go to races, like NASCAR races? Because there's always potential there to be a train wreck. It's not all great. You don't know every single person you've ever heard of. And sometimes it doesn't go so well, which is kind of entertaining. But
The pre-show matches, too, and the independents are hilarious because they're obviously guys that no one's ever heard of. Like the one guy that came out, I don't know his name, for Black Label, he literally brought out a case of Natty Lights, and he was just drinking a Natty Light while wrestling.
yes,
It's kind of like an Orange Cassidy shtick where it's not serious.
trying to find your gimmick. Yeah.
But those weird things work, especially nowadays. You can see it on television. The weird gimmicks are getting over. The Orange Cassidys, the Dexter Loomis. Like, Dexter Loomis just stares at a camera.
yes,
But it's captivating. You
like
love him.
I love him.
He made his return this
Yes,
week after
yes.
10 weeks. A lot of people starting to come back. And
Welcome back, Dexter. The NXT champion welcomes you back.
Yeah, okay, yeah. The face of NXT, Jim Tucky Two Bells over here. Well, speaking of NXT, we might as well talk about TakeOver. Did you watch that live on Sunday, or did you just come around to it?
I got caught up. I started it 10-15 minutes late, and then through the promos and stuff, I ended up watching it live.
Yeah, so we got a new venue, a new change of scenery for NXT. What were your thoughts on the new setup? We got a live crowd there.
I enjoy it. Live crowd with the Thunderdome feel. My favorite part is them putting the fence over the plexiglass. I don't know why. I just think
Shake
it's cool.
it.
It's just cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a way to make
Different.
noise.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like a fight zone. Like something's about to go down here.
Yeah.
And, I think it's a lot better.
It poses the plexiglass as a more legitimate threat to being tossed
Fair.
into instead of a sheet of plastic. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a cool venue for sure. You can definitely tell it's smaller in stature, but it had a lot going on for sure with like that Thunderdome type feel, like you were saying and whatnot.
Capitol Wrestling Center, right?
Yeah, I did see this critique, and I don't know who it was on Twitter. I just see things on Twitter a lot, and I don't remember who says it, but they're like, honestly, why are you trying to push this Capitol Wrestling thing when you know people that are watching NXT know nothing about Capitol Wrestling? Do we know anything about that?
I had no idea.
So how is that going to appeal to listeners? Oh, look at where they're doing it.
Right.
Like, what are you going to impress? 60-year-olds?
Yeah.
People that are retired? Like, come on.
Pair it with a documentary, something. I don't know.
Yeah, give a little background on it a little bit, which they did, I believe, at the beginning of TakeOver, but still.
Yeah.
The venue was, the change was necessary. It'll be interesting to see, though, if they go to full capacity crowds here soon, because a bill was just passed in Florida for all sporting events, even the Miami Dolphins and whatnot, college football teams, that you can run full stadium entertainment shows. That's a thing now.
We're getting close, dude. I'm not saying Indiana's close to being full back.
Indiana's not.
But my bold prediction is that the mask mandate will be lifted on the 17th.
Really? You think? I don't think so.
The governor is 3 weeks ahead of an election. His butt is on the hot, and this is political minute with Tuck.
Here we go.
But
is he Republican?
He is a Republican.
Okay, then yes,
and he's a little bit on. It's not as a done deal as you think for him to get reelected. So I think that's why,
And real quick, last thing about politics, and I'm not a political guy. I don't really give a shit. But, like, if he makes a move like that during these times, it's probably going to benefit him at the polls.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why he would do it. It's not going to be, I'm doing this because we're safe now. No, we're not.
No, and I'm not crazy like
Yeah.
anti-mask guy, but
Like a couple people we know.
makes sense. It is what it is. Like
I think you do a podcast with one of those anti-mask guys, don't you?
I'm sheepish. No, I'm sheepish.
No. Hey, Bogus, not talking about you, but you know what we're talking about.
I'm sheepish. I will follow rules. It is
Yeah,
what
me
it
too.
is.
If there's no harm,
Yeah.
put on the mask. Just do what they say.
We had a great time at the show.
Mask was on the whole time,
Yeah.
and we made sure because Black Label tweeted at us.
Abundantly clear, yeah.
What was that, Black Label?
It was, yeah.
kind of a
just wanna do
snarky
good
remark.
job.
Yeah, they're covering their ass for sure.
And they're, regardless of whatever happens on the 17th, Slamilton will sell 30 tickets to it.
Are we going?
I will be in California.
Okay, so I don't really want to go if you're not going.
The morning show is sold out. There's 2 shows. They're doing a double event.
Wait, they already put them on sale?
Yep, $75.
Okay, yeah, that's probably too pricey for me.
Get it on Fight TV on the free trial.
Oh, well, then there we go. Yeah, I'll still watch.
It's
yeah,
available. Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be good television.
I did that for one of their shows pre-quarantine. You can get the 5-day free trial. It's only like $10 a month.
Yeah, those are those things too. Like if you can't attend these indie shows or you don't feel safe during these times, support indie wrestling.
IWTV. And I'm a big merch guy.
You are.
I'm a big merch at those types of show guys too.
You didn't buy anything.
Nothing struck me. I want to buy a Warhorse T-shirt, but
So did I.
I can't wear a Warhorse Rules ass shirt at school. That's
fair.
like my big play. Like I wear wrestling shirts at school every Friday.
Warhorse, I'm going to tag you in this tweet. I'm going to sound clip it and everything. That
Don't do
shirt
that.
that you were wearing.
Oh yeah.
I need to purchase that.
It's probably on Pro Wrestling TV.
So yeah, if you can send me a link and whatnot, the shirt you were wearing Saturday night at Black Label Pro, I will purchase it. Just let me know where I can get it because he wasn't selling it at the event. I forgot what it said.
Tell
Something
your little
about
dorky baby ass friends to watch wrestling.
Yeah, I like that shirt. That's a good shirt. So Warhorse, we'll talk, and you'll come on the podcast eventually one of these days.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
I confirmed and all that stuff. So
yeah,
not at all, not one bit. But yeah, NXT Takeover happened Sunday. We just went back to Black Label there for a second. The match that really affected our predictions was Santos Escobar versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. I had Scott. You had Santos Escobar in this one. And to me personally, this was the match of the night for me. Mm-hmm. I thought it gave us many near falls, a lot of moments where I thought Swerve was going to win. I literally stood up a couple of those times. And when you're getting me to interact at home by myself, you know you're doing something right.
Well, and the fun part about having bets on the game or you have your picks in is as soon as Swerve kicks out of that, you're like, okay, Santos has a shot.
Shit, yeah,
we're back. It's gonna flip.
Yeah.
It's gonna flip. But yeah, I thought that was a great match. My favorite part about that show was it was a pretty straightforward card. You kind of knew what to expect going in, and it was still an excellent show.
Yeah,
good matches. Not long by any stretch. Every match had significant time and was able to play out, and then we got on with life.
Yeah, that's a
it,
good way of
it was
looking
just
at it.
good. Like they didn't screw anything up. They didn't do anything over the top kitschy. It was good.
Yeah, and this match specifically, the Cruiserweight Championship, I kind of feel bad for Swerve in a way because he's had a lot of opportunities now to take a title or get a big win, and he really hasn't got that yet. But I think even losing here to Escobar, who's been very hot right now, and he's got his 2 guys alongside him, I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. If anything, getting a match on the main card at NXT TakeOver in a match where he had multiple points where the babyface almost won, I think he got over in a way in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it makes it that much sweeter when he eventually will.
He's a good babyface, and I don't want to ever see him work as a heel, at least anytime soon.
No, it wouldn't fit. We've hit October, and your claim was that he would hold gold by the end of 2020. I still think that's true.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is not over with between him and Santos, or is there another avenue?
If they ran it back, I wouldn't be mad.
No, I wouldn't either.
Something close,
And he can use the fact that the guys got involved and whatnot in it. But who's that other guy that showed up that made his debut with him to fight off the other 2 of...
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He made his debut. He was on NXT, I believe, as well. But yeah, I've never seen him before. But yeah, hopefully that's not the end of that. But it was my favorite match of the night. We also got to see 2 returns on NXT TakeOver. Toni Storm, after Io Shirai defeated Candice LeRae, would come up on the Jumbotron there, basically just make her claim that she's back in NXT. And then after that, we saw that, those vignettes we were getting with the green screen and the person riding the motorcycle pull up. Ember Moon made her return to NXT at that same time. So once again, the NXT women's division adding more and more stars.
Yeah, and I think it's a good place for Ember Moon too, because she could get lost in the shuffle in the main roster.
She did when she was there.
So build her up, give time on the main roster to see how things are shaking out. They do have they're in that the luxury of having too many spoils. Like they've got a lot of goods. So
I don't even think it's close. NXT has the best women's division in wrestling.
no, there's strengths at every level in Raw, in SmackDown, but top to bottom.
No, I think in NXT, yeah.
NXT is the truth, no doubt.
Like your bottom of NXT has like Casey Catanzaro in it, Kaden Carter,
Shotzi's
Xia Li.
in that middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's in that middle. I mean, even Raquel Gonzalez is getting a chance to shine in main events against Rhea Ripley. Like, there's just so many names that we can, and they just lost too.
Yeah.
They lost Mia Yim and Mercedes Martinez, who now have different names, but
Do they have, what are their names now?
Reckoning and I don't know the other one.
Ooh.
The names are bad, but we will
Door
touch on
handle.
Retribution in a little bit. I think it's getting a little better, but yeah, like you said, it's good to see Ember Moon back. NXT Women's Division is strong. You got to assume, though, I know you watched NXT in its entirety this week, that Ember Moon looks like she's getting the first shot at EO.
Well, I think now it could be Dakota Kai and Ember Moon make the run to EO, maybe, instead of, because Dakota sounded grumpy.
Dakota's great.
Yeah, she is. Better than Candice LeRae.
Oh, 100%. Why do you hate Candice
I
LeRae
don't
so
know.
much?
It's the
Like,
poison
she's
pixie.
great.
Get out.
Like,
nah, whatever.
You don't like the jumpsuits with the Garganos?
Overrated.
Oh, come on. That's a terrible take. Oh, you want to take, though?
Yes.
I think Shotzi Blackheart's overrated.
I think she's adequately rated.
I think the gimmick is a poor woman's Becky Lynch.
Okay, I can see it.
It's initial vibes. I've been wrong before. I've had bad takes.
Yeah.
Like, one of my bad takes in US before your time was I thought Adam Rose was really good, and now Adam Rose isn't even in the company anymore.
Well,
So we all have bad takes, but yeah, you don't like Candace that much, at least as a heel.
Yeah.
This version.
Yeah.
I'm not a big
And
fan
it
of
could
Shotzi.
be. It could be just because it's so different. I just don't like. I like what I like, and I liked All American. Good Candice LeRae.
The Garganos in general are just good baby faces, so
Yeah.
they'll get there eventually, I'm sure. But they're still doing their heel thing. But in the main event of NXT Takeover, we had Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly. This was many people's match of the night, and I didn't think this was your typical NXT match. This one felt like a fight. These guys were laying it in hard here. There was nothing fake about this. I mean, all around, this was the most real fight I have seen in NXT, probably since Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher in that cage match.
It was just the match Kyle O'Reilly needed to become and stay relevant as a singles competitor, because it was awesome.
Yeah. Was this your match of the night?
I think so. I do think so. For me, I'd have to. Yeah.
A lot of people were saying this could even be like a 5-star match.
It was good. It was. I don't do that with every match, so it wouldn't be fair.
I think it was adequately rated by Dave Meltzer, and I hate that guy with a passion because everybody looks up to him like he's the end-all, be-all of ratings.
I actually don't know a ton of people that like him, but everyone talks about him.
Yeah, because he's like the only one that has like that star
The
system.
system, yeah.
But I think I believe he gave it a 4.25 out of 5.
4.25 marks for Gags.
Yeah, what would you give it if you were a Dave Meltzer rating this match out of 5 stars? Yeah,
4.5, but 4.25. Yeah, it was good.
I mean, it was so hard hitting. Finn Balor fractured his jaw in 2 different spots.
Yeah.
Like, this is real shit right
Does he have
here.
to give up the title now?
No, he said he's not giving it up and whatnot. Those two didn't have anything going on screen.
Yeah.
They had a couple backstage stuff, but I think you said it too. Kyle O'Reilly just showed that he can virtually hang with anyone in the ring. We got to see his strengths, look strong in defeat, and that's all it takes right there. You don't always need a belt to be relevant. Kyle O'Reilly, known as a tag team guy for a majority of his WWE career, goes out there, goes toe-to-toe with one of the top guys in WWE, holds his own. I think he got over.
And now it's on NXT to keep him on the road. Now it's their job to make sure the personality, the emotion, and those we know he can wrestle. Now he's got to relate. Now he has to earn the buy-in. It's a little as a tag team, you have to do about half of it. Maybe that's
right.
Unfairly rated, but you don't have to do all the work. But if he wants to go where he wants to go, he and NXT now have to manage it, which the main roster has not done a great job of historically. But he's still in NXT, still can build. And again, we look at it we will cling to anybody that we feel can go compelling, right? You think of all these different people.
Got to be a mixture of both. You got to be good in the ring and interesting character.
Yeah, we like Kushida lately. He's been doing well. He's been putting on good matches, and things like that. They can pop up. These little flames can pop up, but you hope they don't burn brightly for a short time. Sustain is kind of what all levels need. You don't have a ton of killers on every. Roman Reigns is back. That helps, but everyone's clamoring, and I don't know if we'll ever get it back. The John Cena's, Stone Cold's, The Rock's, where the entire world was aflame for those guys. And I think part of it is the social media aspect where like people are going to shit on people to be the other side of the take.
Yeah.
So
it's all about just arguing online about things, and I'm right, you're wrong. This is the only way to look at something.
When WWE Magazine was a thing, that was the truth.
Yeah.
Those with negative opinions.
That was the gossip.
Didn't have the plug. So
overall grade, NXT TakeOver, what would you give? You're a teacher. Give me a grade here.
A-.
A-.
I just thought it was solid.
That's more than solid.
Not at the top.
That's good.
Yeah, B+ to A-. Not the best takeover I've ever seen. Very satisfying. It got a lot of good out of it.
One of the better shows of the pandemic era. I guess we could call it right there. I'd give it a B+. I thought nothing disappointed. The right people probably won every single match, and you really couldn't have asked for more. So maybe B+ is kind of low. Maybe A- is fair.
Yeah. Give it a 90, an 89.
Yeah, right on the fringe right there. We're rounding up here. Yeah. I'm one of those teachers. Don't be that teacher that doesn't round up.
A- it counts, 89.5.
That's how it should be. That's how it was in most Crown Point classes too.
A- at St. Mary's, 92.5.
That's dumb.
It was
That's how it is at Andran too.
It's tough, yeah.
Now, my mom went to Andran and she told me about that.
You have an 84, you have a C.
Like, dude, come on. That's where I lived.
It's hard,
84 is where I lived. That's how I got through college.
And that ain't bad. If you're 84% successful,
you're comprehending.
Life is good.
Yeah, you're there. You're not an expert, but you know what's going on.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was their NXT TakeOver talk. We're going to talk about a couple things here on the main roster. We found out this Monday that we have a leader. There is somebody leading the charge here for Retribution. Mustafa Ali was revealed as the leader. Retribution would virtually act like they were going to attack the Hurt Business and Ali. Ali would then step out of the ring, face Mace and T-Bar, turn around and say, "Go get 'em, boys." We would find out there in that moment. It looks like Mustafa Ali has been the mastermind behind Retribution this whole time.
Yeah, cool. All right.
You're not thrilled?
I just want to be. Are you?
I am.
You're thrilled?
Yeah, I really like this.
I like the idea that Mustafa Ali has something and he's back, but I am far more concerned or intrigued by the Hurt Business than Retribution.
I would agree with you for now, but I think giving Retribution a leader, a guy that we know who it is, because they haven't given real names to the Retribution guys. Like, we know it's Dijakovic, we know it's Dio Madden, blah, 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 but we know the leader now is Mustafa Ali, the guy that's been calling the shots. It seems like Retribution finally now has their true purpose. They were just people showing up, doing random childish things, but there was no one that looked like that guy. Mm-hmm. Mustafa Ali is a guy that hasn't really had anything so far on the main roster. Everything that he's had given to him, it was taken right away. We thought there was a chance he was going to win Money in the Bank a couple years ago. Brock Lesnar shows up and takes that right from him.
That's true.
Literally right from his hands. He was at the top of the ladder when that happened. Mustafa Ali was going to be the guy they were going to push at the main event, not the main event, but one of the main events of WrestleMania against Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Kofi Kingston steps in when Ali was hurt. He loses that opportunity. All of these people that are a part of Retribution finally have a leader that can relate to them. There's something that has always held them back. When you look at Dijakovic, Keith Lee was always that person holding him back. They were two big guys having great matches. Everybody respected them. But who did everybody talk about on NXT, Tuck? Keith Lee. Nobody talked about Dominic Dijakovic. Dio Madden stood up for Jerry Lawler on commentary when Brock Lesnar was going at him on Monday Night Raw. Nobody talks about Dio Madden.
Right.
But he stood up for a Hall of Famer.
The Dio Madden piece is probably the thing that I'm most excited about because I know nothing about him.
Yeah, he really has no history other than he was on commentary for 3 years.
Yeah.
Or 3 weeks. Sorry, not 3 years.
I'm like, wow, time flies.
Yeah, time flies when you're Dio Madden, I guess. But yeah, no, overall, I think it's exciting. You're not as thrilled as I am, though.
I'm warming up to it. I'm not at the he's on fire yet, but I'm warming up.
I think this has Survivor Series written all over it.
That'd be cool. No, the thing that's nice about the Hurt Business is none of them are named Slapjack or T-Bar.
I'm not taking anything away from the Hurt Business. I think this is probably the best thing on Raw.
We got stuff. We got irons in the fire now. We got options.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something here that might piss off some people, but I have enjoyed Drew McIntyre's reign, and I don't know if this has to do with the fact that the way he's being presented, there being no fans and whatnot, or facing the same opponent multiple times. I'm starting to get tired of him as a champion.
I am starting to get tired of the rematches. I still like him as a champion.
Well, we know now that this feud is going to continue at Hell in a Cell. We have a match between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. It's like the feud that, and once again, it's not a terrible thing because they have good matches, but you would think, and I know people got involved, that after sending him off in an ambulance, this would be it.
After punting him off in an ambulance that Ric Flair drove away, that's probably it. Okay, we're good, bud. We'll see ya.
Is this just their way of keeping things going until the draft's over with? Or is this really them just being like, I want to keep Drew as champion? Who can put him over?
Yeah, but how many times? Orton's got to win it once, right? At some point, right?
I don't know at this point.
I know.
Like, we're dragging it out now. If you have Orton take the belt, you have to keep it going.
Yeah.
The story doesn't end there. It just doesn't like, oh, Orton finally got over the hump. That's it. We can move on.
Yeah, but what else does Drew McIntyre have to do to not have to face Orton again?
That's also
That's
true.
what I'm saying.
Well, put him in a cell, pal.
Yes.
I don't know. It's not the only rematch we're seeing, but thankfully this one that we will see at Hell in a Cell hasn't been overplayed. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso is happening at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
I still don't think Jay's winning. I don't think anybody does, but this is a storyline that I think has been the strongest on WWE over the past few weeks.
And for what that match was, you don't look back at it as a 5-star athletic match.
No.
But it was the, like, I don't know if I want to keep watching this kind of thing. And it really benefited from a lack of a crowd because you heard every word that Roman was saying. Yep. It was clear. It was articulate.
Bingo.
And it drew you in.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And like you, I mean, you nailed it right there. That's just in this era. That's the perfect kind of match you have. Roman Reigns is going to get heat when he comes back because he is talking literally to the camera when he is having these matches. Mm-hmm. Like he's talking shit to his blood during this match. Give up, man. Give up, Uso. It's not going to happen. And it's hard not to root for Jey Uso, a guy that's like known as a tag team. And they even made the comment when people come up to me, they go, "Which one are you?"
Yeah.
Like you couldn't tell those two apart.
Right.
So having that match that they had, doing it in a Hell in a Cell, it feels like, I wouldn't say even a perfect ending because it couldn't maybe go on past that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens there. I think it's got to be the best storyline on the main roster, right?
Yeah, that's the one that I like. And when it was first pitched, I was like, this is going to stink. Like, why? But hats off.
I think that also just shows you, too, if you give people a chance to tell a story, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Just give them the right material. Jey Uso's killing it.
Yeah, I agree.
I do not like how he beat AJ Styles clean, though.
Well, you gotta keep him strong. Uso?
He's a tag team guy.
No, he isn't.
I mean, he is, though.
No, yeah, he is.
And AJ Styles, over the past 5 years, is one of the top guys in WWE. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And maybe I'm overthinking it.
But, yeah.
It kind of pissed me off. It rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. But I am excited for it.
There you go.
That's just me venting. That was the venting with gags right there. But hopefully people aren't complaining about this podcast so far. Actually,
life is good.
I think there's a way we can find out what people are saying about the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.
Yeah, let's see what the people are saying.
What's everybody saying about the On the Mark podcast?
It's just insane, and I love it.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
Unlike any other.
It's a great show.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
Total nonstop action, Tug.
Yes.
That's what you get here at OTM.
Hardcore energy.
And that's virtually what we got on AEW Dynamite this week.
Yeah, there was a little bit of action.
I like what we're getting once again from AEW. There was a time, and it was probably just because of All Out, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I feel like we've gotten back on track a little bit.
And here we go, yeah.
And it really kind of started here with the TNT Championship dog collar match. They pulled in everyone for this one. Greg the Hammer Valentine was there.
Yes. That was cool.
He fought Roddy Piper in the last dog collar match that we got. But I thought seeing Cody back, the new look, not really a new persona, but just a new vibe with him. Mr. Brody Lee, him and those two just had absolute chemistry in this match. The only thing I could really complain about it is that one big spot we got with the table, the pile driver through the table.
Yeah.
That wasn't picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
Can we get that on the main screen, Tom?
Right, yeah. But it does make sense to include things of note on the picture-in-picture to try to keep eyes on the screen.
I know, but the people that paid the money for the advertisement don't give a shit what's going on the main screen over there.
I know.
Most people are going to pay attention to the advertisement. But nonetheless, I thought out of Dynamite matches, this was the one I enjoyed the most, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it had all the spots that you needed. The chemistry between these two, I don't know much about their history in WWE. I'm assuming they worked together, but man, I could watch this feud for months.
Well, and to navigate a 16-foot chain, too, and it was pretty smooth. That's the kind of stuff I'm watching and looking for. Like, how are they, the strap match, those types of things, how are they going to handle it? Like Cody having to dive through the ropes as the chain is dangling on that middle. He's got to go through the right set of ropes.
Yeah.
Hope it comes through. And there's just a lot of variables. And I thought they did a really good job. Bloody, felt like a fight.
Yeah.
Felt stiff, that they both got their asses kicked. And yeah.
Cody winning the title back, though, was that a shock to you?
A little bit because of
Same.
how little of a reign Brody Lee's had. I don't know that he really got off going with it.
This was Brody Lee's third title defense. He ends up losing it to Cody after beating him in like virtually a minute or two.
Yeah, interesting, but
I mean, you can't do wrong with Cody as your champion.
No, he's the guy.
And a lot of people are going to bitch about that. Like, AEW Mark's like, only reason Cody's got the title is because he's one of the guys that started the company, blah, blah, blah. He's the new Triple H.
Yeah, but TNT wants that guy with the title.
How many you walk down the street, and granted, not many are going to know either one of these guys, but if you showed a picture of Cody Rhodes or Brody Lee, who's the more recognizable face?
Exactly.
If I tell the story, Cody Rhodes is the son of Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes is pretty famous.
Yeah.
Like, people know who that is. But overall, that match was very exciting. They gave it the right amount of time, the good spots right there. And like you said, just working with a chain in between you two, that's another task in itself.
And I don't need something like that every week to be satisfied, but it is a nice wrinkle.
And that's something that AEW does very well. I wasn't a huge fan of the Mimosa Mayhem match, but it's different. Like, we're getting these, little stipulations here and there. It's not overkill, the Stadium Stampede. You don't get that kind of stuff with WWE,
Yeah.
You get, like, a lumberjack match. You get an Iron Man match. But, like, AEW isn't afraid to push the limits a little bit here. They bring back an old stipulation, put the strap back on Cody. And I feel like you now have more options to challenge the TNT champion, no?
Yeah.
You got a babyface working it.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't know what direction they're actually going to go with here, but
pick your next TNT champion.
It's not Orange Cassidy. That's who he's facing next week. I don't think that title changed hands unless Cody were to turn heel.
Yeah.
Which people have speculated over the last couple weeks. Because say Orange Cassidy gets a nonchalant win, Cody could snap right there. Be like, hey, I just lost to this guy?
Yeah.
After beating Brody Lee?
Yeah.
Going through that dog collar match? Do you have a name in mind?
No.
I don't think Matt Cardona's signed still, so I would have said Matt Cardona maybe just because there's that friendship interaction going on over there.
I would love to see MJF with it.
Ooh. Yeah, MJF is kind of in a weird spot right now.
Get him on TV every week. The problem is they're trying to make that a little like a worker title. With
MJF's not going to work every week.
You kind of don't want him to.
No.
Darby Allin?
Yeah,
That'd be a good one.
But we've seen those matches, though, with Cody.
Right.
We've seen MJF. We've seen Darby get his opportunities, too. Maybe a guy like Miro takes a stab at it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he wasn't doing anything last week, so I don't know. I feel like there's more options you can go. You can even have a rematch down the road with Brody Lee, probably, but a lot of people were complaining. They're like, oh, Brody only had the title for a couple months. Like, what's up with that? Well,
it'd be like that sometimes.
It's a business, and it's a business move. What match is going to sell more next week? Cody Rhodes versus Orange Cassidy or Brody Lee versus Orange Cassidy?
Right.
And that's what we're getting next week. Next week's their 1-year anniversary for AEW Dynamite. We got Cody Rhodes versus Orange Cassidy. These are all title matches, by the way. FTR versus the Best Friends. And then, of course, we have Lance Archer making his return to take on Jon Moxley. In that match, I personally want and think Lance Archer should win.
Yeah, well, John's done nothing.
I wouldn't say nothing.
He's an unimpressive reign, in my opinion.
Is that just because of the people that he's faced, or do you just think he's maybe not doing enough?
Yeah, it is what it is. I just don't know that I'm like a big Jon Moxley guy.
I never was a huge Dean Ambrose guy, and obviously we're talking about the same people here in WWE, but I always thought he was solid. I don't think he's the face of the company.
Right.
I think you're going to, you know what you get with Jon Moxley. He's going to be a good match. He's got an interesting character, but is he worthy of a world title reign of this long?
I think Lance Archer could cause terror.
Absolutely, and he's got a huge name with him. Ever heard of Jake the Snake Roberts?
And he's huge.
Yeah,
like literally, actually huge.
Yeah, and we've seen him work before in person.
Yeah.
Any chance that actually happens, though? Do you think any of these titles are going to change here? We got FTR and the Best Friends.
No.
TNT title, Cody and Orange, and Lance Archer and Moxley.
Yes.
Really? You think they pull the trigger?
Oh, yeah.
Why is that, though?
I have no idea. Because I want to see it, maybe. I don't know. It's new, fun, exciting,
They just did that with TNT, though.
When's the next pay-per-view?
November 7th, Full Gear.
Oh, Full Gear, yeah. That was in Baltimore, wasn't it?
I don't know, yeah. But Ian, you only got a couple more weeks, buddy, so you might as well start thinking about
we are coming for that ass.
We need to... I know I said I was going to buy the replica, the little toy belt. I probably should just get it, just to have it. We got to have something,
Yeah.
Just something to parade.
Who does it? Me, you, Ian? Does Vogus do it?
No, he doesn't do the AEW.
So that's just the three?
Yeah, that's just three of us. And then Mikey and Vogus are part of the main roster.
Yeah.
So maybe. We'll see. We'll see if the youngster can keep the momentum going. So you think Lance Archer's going to win this match?
I want him to. I don't know that
I the fair way of
think
wording.
he will. Yeah.
I want Archer to as well, but I don't think they're going to do it. And the only reason I don't is because you might not have seen it because you stopped watching halfway through, right, of Dynamite?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They announced that they're going to have an 8-man tournament to decide the new number one contender.
I learned about that through Hangman Adam Page's press release.
That press release is absolutely hilarious.
It was kind of funny.
I mean, we didn't know much about Adam Hangman Page when he had that title opportunity against Chris Jericho.
Right.
And honestly, at that time, I thought he was the right choice. He wasn't at that time, but now that I'm watching him and he's getting time on TV to, showcase exactly who he is, Adam Hangman Page is one of the most entertaining characters in wrestling right now.
Yep, I like him.
I mean, some of the stuff he put on him as a child, Hangman Page, the voicemail devolved into a slurred monologue with the occasional yell, followed by 2 minutes of silence. Like, like, what is he putting in this press release right here? As I just read it. If you don't know what we're talking about, just follow him on Twitter. But we know Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, Wardlow, and Colt Cabana are officially a part of it. If you were to pick a guy, and I'm assuming you're going off the thought that Moxley retains, right? Because that's what you think might happen. Who is your early pick to win this tournament?
What do you say the names again, real quick?
Omega, Page, Wardlow.
Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the next one to win it then?
Yes. If it's not Lance Archer.
So if it is Lance Archer, then maybe it's a guy like Hangman Page that gets that belt, and then they can go down the route with Kenny after that.
Yeah.
At least there's some steps you can take to get there, but I feel like they are making sure Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page are kind of next in line, maybe so to say.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair.
Cue it up.
Kenny Omega has always been referred to as one of the best wrestlers in the world.
I'm ready for an Omega push.
I don't think we need it, though.
I'm ready for it.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not ready.
I said what I said.
I would like Miro to maybe get a push.
Yeah.
We know what he's capable of. I mean, he's had WrestleMania matches with John Cena, so they might work it into it. I wouldn't be surprised if Shawn Spears is into this match, but I would agree with you. I would say if I were to pick a guy to win that tournament, thinking that Moxley is going to retain against Lance Archer, that I probably would go with Kenny Omega as well. But yeah, that's all I had there from AEW, and that's all I really had in general. Is there anything that went on in the wrestling world these past couple weeks that you wanted to bring up?
I like the Alexa Bliss stuff still.
Oh, yeah. We didn't really touch on that.
Yeah.
So now we officially know that she's with The Fiend.
Yes.
It's a thing. And he's feuding with Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens is also feuding with Aleister Black, but he's also feuding with...
That's the... I don't think Kevin Owens needs to be in The Fiend's...
I don't either.
I hope it doesn't ruin him, but I do like the Alexa Bliss stuff. It's a new layer, different layer.
And The Fiend needed that after having all these title matches. And we always talked about it on here. He doesn't need the title. But let's add that other thing to his character.
Yeah.
He's got a little side piece going on there. Alexa Bliss action.
Yeah.
And what has Alexa Bliss done, really, since she cashed in Money in the Bank a couple years ago?
Right.
Been a tag team with Nikki Cross. That's about it. Now we get to see a little bit more of her.
Yeah. So, until next week, right? We're back next week.
Why not?
No previews or anything, but...
No, we don't got nothing
catching
going on until Hell in a Cell and Full Gear. We do have an idea, though, for a show. I know I DM'd you personally months ago. It was if AEW and WWE were to do a head-to-head pay-per-view, what that dream card would look like. If that is something that might interest you as a listener, we can maybe pop that off next week.
Yeah.
Or if you have any other ideas, we're open too. But, yeah, we'll try to run a show next week. Why not? Why not?
No, we're here, yeah.
Why not, man? Let's do it.
In the meantime, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Pot on the Mark, myself at JimTuck89, and Kyle at Too Sweet Kyle.
Too sweet!
Until next time, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling
Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the On the Mark Podcast.
Brock Lesnar going for an F5 to Cena for the championship. Lesnar with the cover.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and updates, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Pod on the Mark.